There is a hidden side of the American West where the map itself seems to be lying to you. It is a vast land bordering 3 Canadian provinces, the 4th largest state in America, yet the 3rd least densely populated, with only about 3 people per square kilometer. On many remote roads, you can drive for hours and see nothing but open grasslands, rugged mountains, and an endless sky stretching to the horizon. People call it Big Sky Country, a place where the sky somehow feels even larger than the land beneath it. Locals often say that life in Montana changes the way people think about freedom, silence, and the things that truly matter in life. But is that silence a gift, or is it the challenge that this wild land demands people learn to accept? Across this vast land, the Rocky Mountains divide Montana into dry, open plains and wide valleys surrounded by snow-covered peaks. Yet it is this untouched beauty and its distance from the noise of the outside world that have become the driving force behind the profound changes now unfolding across the state. In Bozeman, that transformation can be seen on nearly every street. Dust-covered pickup trucks, owned by ranchers, now share the roads with luxury electric vehicles carrying license plates from California, Texas, and Washington. Many longtime residents quietly repeat a phrase filled with concern, saying that Montana is being loved to death. After the pandemic, more and more people left crowded cities in search of a quieter life closer to nature, turning Montana into a destination for those willing to trade urban convenience for open space and a slower pace of living that major cities can no longer provide. Within just a few years, the effects of that migration became impossible to ignore. Housing prices surged, leaving many families who have lived in Montana for generations struggling more than ever before. Many young people born and raised here have been forced to leave their hometowns or move farther away, as owning a home in the place where they grew up has become increasingly out of reach. But these changes are not limited to small towns and traditional neighborhoods. Enormous amounts of wealth continue to flow into remote valleys, where private resorts and ultra-wealthy communities are steadily taking shape. Amid the wild landscapes of the American West, a world of luxury that feels almost completely separate from the rest of Montana is quietly emerging. Behind the security gates of Yellowstone Club lies a completely different world. It is one of the most exclusive private communities in America, where access to private ski slopes, golf courses, and vast wilderness areas comes with investments worth millions of dollars. Yet not far away, Paradise Valley presents an entirely different picture. Ranches stretch across the landscape beneath the Absaroka Range, while the Yellowstone River continues to flow through wide-open meadows on its way toward the national park. Every summer, as visitor numbers to Yellowstone rise dramatically, small campgrounds and family-owned cabins, tucked deep within the valley, come alive with activity. Many of these places have existed for decades and rarely appear in popular travel guides. The rhythm of summer in Paradise Valley remains slow and peaceful among the expansive grasslands and riverside roads. For many local residents, this is the season for picnics, camping trips, and outdoor traditions that have been passed down through generations. And from the waters that flow through this valley, another chapter of Montana begins to unfold. Much of Montana's ranching and agricultural land depends on water that originates in the Rocky Mountains. In the northwest, melting snow feeds into Flathead Lake, the largest natural freshwater lake in the western United States outside of Alaska. The water is so clear that you can see smooth stones resting deep beneath its blue surface. This region has also long been home to the Salish and Kootenai peoples, whose communities lived around the lake long before Montana became part of modern America. At the center of the lake lies Wild Horse Island, a secluded landscape covering more than 2,000 acres with no permanent residents. There, wild horses still roam freely across sunlit hills, while bald eagles and bighorn sheep continue to sustain the unique ecosystem of northwestern Montana. Farther north, Glacier National Park reveals some of the most breathtaking scenery in the state. Each year, the Going to the Sun Road opens for only a limited period after work crews clear millions of tons of snow from the mountain slopes. The route stretches for more than 80 kilometers, winding past deep blue glacial lakes, towering cliffs, and valleys shaped during the last ice age. It is considered one of the most beautiful road trips in America, but for the people who live near Glacier, it also reflects a familiar reality. Life here has always depended on the weather and on what the mountains are willing to allow. Leaving Flathead, the water continues its journey into the Madison River, one of the most famous trout fly fishing destinations in the world. Every summer, anglers from across America come here and spend long hours in the cold water, studying the weather, watching water levels, and observing the emergence of native insects. Choosing the right fly is often just as important as mastering the technique itself. Life along the Madison moves at a much slower pace than in the cities. The gentle sound of oars on the water and boats drifting quietly through the valley have become familiar scenes during a Montana summer. The river eventually flows eastward and joins the mighty Missouri River. The section of the Missouri that passes through Montana still preserves much of the wilderness that Lewis and Clark encountered during their expedition in 1805. Today, the sandy riverbanks remain popular campsites, while kayakers continue to paddle past the limestone cliffs that early explorers once called the Gates of the Mountains. These rivers remain deeply woven into everyday life, from weekend fishing trips to long journeys across the vast wilderness of the American West. Just as these rivers have sustained life here for generations, stories like this continue their journey because people choose to preserve and share them. If you enjoy exploring America with us, a hike is a wonderful way to help more people discover these stories. Leaving the rivers behind, the boundary between civilization and the wild gradually begins to disappear. Montana is home to both black bears and grizzly bears, with some of the largest remaining grizzly populations in the lower 48 states. Across forests, mountain valleys, and even the outskirts of small communities, sharing the landscape with bears has become part of everyday life. For local residents, encountering a bear is never treated as an adventure. Food is stored carefully, campsites are kept clean, and hikers remain alert whenever they enter the backcountry. These simple habits help prevent unnecessary encounters while allowing bears to continue their natural behavior. Rather than trying to dominate nature, people here have learned that living safely begins with respect. In Montana, the wilderness is not something kept behind fences. It is a neighbor that deserves both caution and understanding. Respect for wildlife also comes from watching animals thrive in places where humans could barely survive. High above the valleys, mountain goats move effortlessly across cliffs so steep they appear almost vertical. With specially adapted hooves that grip even the narrowest ledges, they navigate rocky slopes that seem impossible to climb. Their white coats stand out against the gray limestone, while generations of experience guide them safely through terrain shaped by snow, wind, and ice. For many visitors, catching sight of a mountain goat balanced calmly on a cliff becomes one of the most unforgettable moments of exploring Montana's wilderness. In Gardner, the northern gateway to Yellowstone, stopping your vehicle to let a herd of bison walk through town is no longer an unusual experience. With some animals weighing nearly a ton, keeping a safe distance is always the top priority, because a single car horn or a moment of impatience can change the situation in just a few seconds. Yet not every wild neighbor is enormous. Across Montana's grasslands and rocky hillsides, ground squirrels dart between burrows, pausing briefly to stand upright and scan for danger before disappearing underground again. Their constant presence reminds people that wildlife exists not only in national parks, but throughout the everyday landscape. Living alongside wildlife does not mean interfering with natural behavior. In Montana, maintaining a respectful distance has always been considered the greatest form of respect for the natural world. Before the sun rises above the Montana horizon, the headlights of pickup trucks are already moving across the open grasslands. Calving season often begins early in the morning, and fences damaged by winter storms must be repaired before the cattle continue their movement across the range. Life on a working ranch is far different from the romantic images often seen in movies. Here, horses and lassos remain essential tools of everyday labor, closely tied to managing livestock across the vast open spaces of the American West. Those skills continue to live on in rodeo arenas every summer. When the gate swings open, 8 seconds on the back of an untamed horse can be enough to determine the outcome of an entire competition. Events such as roping, cattle handling, and stock control all originated from the practical work performed on ranches, where branding, caring for, and managing livestock remain part of daily life. For that reason, rodeo is more than entertainment. It reflects the traditions and skills that have been deeply connected to ranching culture across the American West for generations. Alongside the rodeo arenas, county fairs remain a familiar part of summer life in Montana. They provide an opportunity for small communities, separated by dozens of miles, to come together after months of work on ranches and across the open range. Many teenagers involved in 4-H programs bring the animals they have raised and cared for throughout the year to compete in local events. For many rural families, this experience is an important part of growing up, as raising livestock and participating in county fairs have been woven into childhood memories for generations. During these gatherings, neighbors who have not seen one another for months reconnect and continue the stories and traditions that have long shaped life in the American West. But Montana's culture extends far beyond its grasslands and dusty arenas. Along the Little Bighorn River in the southeastern part of the state, Crow Fair takes place every August as one of the largest Native American gatherings in North America. The event is known as the teepee capital of the world, with more than 1,500 traditional teepees covering the valley during the celebration. The teepees begin appearing days before the festival officially starts. Ceremonial drums, grand parades, and traditional dances continue to fill the air along the historic Little Bighorn. The beautifully crafted regalia represent far more than artistic expression. They preserve family histories, ancestral connections, and cultural traditions that have been passed down through countless generations. Today, Crow Fair continues to attract thousands of visitors every year and remains an important part of preserving the unique cultural identity of the Crow Nation in modern life. An important part of America's electrification in the late 19th century began in the copper mines beneath Butte. Once known as the richest hill on Earth, the city operated one of the largest copper mining systems in the nation. That immense wealth helped build the expanding electrical network across the country and turned Butte into one of the most prosperous cities in the American West. The legacy of that era can still be seen today. On the edge of the city, the Berkeley Pit still stands with its striking orange-red water, serving as a reminder of both the prosperity and the environmental consequences left behind by the mining industry. Massive steel mining structures continue to dominate the skyline, making history an inseparable part of modern-day Butte. Unlike the bustling energy that once defined Butte during the mining era, Helena today moves at a slower and more peaceful pace. The city was born during the gold rush of the 1860s, before eventually becoming the capital of Montana. History remains visible throughout downtown, with its red brick buildings, longtime local businesses, and the Cathedral of St. Helena rising above the valley. Its twin spires have become a familiar landmark for generations of local residents. On weekend mornings, the local farmers market comes alive with honey, fresh vegetables, cheese, and handmade goods brought in from farms scattered across the surrounding countryside. Churches continue to play an important role in many Helena communities. Beyond weekend services, they also host community meals, charitable programs, and mutual support efforts during the long winter months. Even as the administrative center of Montana, Helena has retained the character of a quiet western city where history, community life, and everyday traditions continue to thrive beneath the endless skies of Big Sky country. Nestled along the Yellowstone River and surrounded by majestic mountain ranges, Livingston has preserved the slow and steady rhythm that defines many small towns across the American West. Main Street, with its local shops, family-owned cafes, and historic red brick buildings, remains the heart of everyday community life. Small churches with white steeples still stand among the neighborhoods and the wide-open fields surrounding the town. When autumn arrives, the lights above the high school football field shine brightly on Friday nights. Families gather in the stands to cheer for the local team, turning school games into an important part of community life. For many small towns across Montana, these simple evenings remain a chance for different generations to come together, share stories, and preserve the values that have long been connected to life beneath the Big Sky. When temperatures fall below -30 degrees Celsius, wood stoves remain a familiar source of heat in many rural Montana homes. After major snowstorms, the routines of winter begin once again, from clearing roads and driveways to protecting water systems and keeping pickup trucks running in the bitter cold. In popular media, living off the grid is often portrayed as a return to nature. But in Montana, it is a lifestyle that requires careful preparation and is suited only to a small number of people seeking complete independence. Maintaining backup power, storing heating fuel, and protecting water supplies are challenges that cannot be postponed during the coldest months of the year. Yet even in the middle of these harsh winters, Montana experiences one of nature's most remarkable weather phenomena. People east of the Rocky Mountains have long called the Chinook the snow eater. Warm air flowing over the mountains and descending onto the plains can raise temperatures by more than 30 degrees Fahrenheit in just a few hours. The town of Loma recorded one of the fastest temperature changes ever observed in the world when temperatures climbed by 103 degrees Fahrenheit in less than a single day because of this phenomenon. Deep snow begins to melt, water drips from rooftops, and the feeling of spring seems to arrive in the middle of winter. These dramatic shifts have long been a familiar part of life in Montana, where a freezing day can quickly give way to warmth within only a few hours. But not every challenge of winter can be solved by the Chinook winds. Across a land where neighbors may live dozens of miles apart, people have always remained one another's greatest source of support. After major snowstorms, it is not unusual for families to help one another through difficult situations, whether that means pulling a stranded vehicle from the road, caring for livestock, or fixing heating systems during the coldest days of the season. In many rural parts of Montana, the nearest town may be dozens of miles away. In a landscape defined by vast distances and harsh weather, mutual support has long been an essential part of everyday life. It is this spirit of community that has allowed generations of people to remain deeply connected to this land, despite the long and demanding winters of the American West. Montana cuisine did not begin in fine restaurants. It grew out of the hard-working lives that have shaped this land for generations. In Butte, the pasty remains an inseparable part of the community's identity. Cornish miners brought this recipe to Montana in the late 19th century, and it quickly became a familiar meal deep underground. The thick crust kept the food warm for hours, while the large crimped edge served as a handle so that hands covered in ore dust and arsenic would not touch the filling inside. Today, longtime bakeries in Butte still make fresh pasties every day, preserving a flavor that has been connected to Montana's mining heritage for well over a century. Long before modern cattle arrived on the plains, bison provided an essential source of food for many native communities across the region. Today, bison burgers and steaks remain popular at local restaurants, continuing a connection between people and the land that has endured for generations beneath the big sky. When summer arrives, the mountains of western Montana enter huckleberry season. These small purple berries are almost impossible to cultivate commercially and grow naturally only in high-elevation forests. For many local families, picking huckleberries has become a summer tradition passed down through generations. The best picking locations are often guarded like family secrets. After each harvest, the berries are turned into jams, pies, ice cream, and other beloved desserts, becoming a flavor deeply tied to childhood memories for many Montanans. Alongside these long-standing traditions, craft beer culture has become an important part of modern Montana. In cities such as Bozeman and Missoula, small breweries make use of pure mountain water and locally grown barley to create distinctive craft beers with their own regional character. For many communities, these breweries are more than places to enjoy a drink. They serve as extensions of the town living room, where people gather after work to talk about hunting season, hay season, and the everyday realities of life across Montana's wide-open country. When the first autumn frost covers the pine trees in October, life in rural Montana begins to revolve around hunting season. For many families, it is more than an outdoor activity. It is an important part of preparing food supplies for the long winter ahead. Step into the garage of many country homes, and you will often find large freezers carefully stocked with elk and deer meat. A successful hunting season can provide enough food to last through months of cold weather, continuing the tradition of self-reliance that has long been part of life in Montana. For that reason, hunting season represents far more than recreation. It is also a time when knowledge is passed from one generation to the next, from reading animal tracks to processing meat, preserving food, and making responsible use of natural resources. After every autumn, preparing and storing harvested game remains a familiar activity in many households, reflecting the deep connection between people, nature, and the vast land they call home. Yet that spirit is also adapting to the realities of the modern economy. After graduating from schools in Bozeman or Missoula, many young people choose to leave the state in search of broader career opportunities. Highly specialized industries remain concentrated in larger economic centers outside Montana, forcing many to choose between staying close to home or building a new life elsewhere. Those who decide to remain often accept lower incomes than they had hoped for, or take on multiple seasonal jobs to make ends meet, a reality that locals sometimes jokingly call the scenery salary. These changes are raising new questions about the future of Montana, as retaining younger generations becomes one of the state's greatest challenges in the decades ahead. When the sun disappears behind the Rocky Mountains, there are no city lights washing out the horizon. Instead, an almost untouched night sky slowly reveals itself, with the Milky Way stretching above the dark mountain peaks. In many rural parts of Montana, sitting on the front porch and watching the stars on a clear night remains an ordinary part of everyday life. In that silence, it becomes easier than ever to understand why so many people choose to build their lives in one of the least populated states in America. The value of life in Montana is not always measured by income or modern conveniences. People here often speak of something known as the scenery salary. Many are willing to give up the opportunity to earn more money in exchange for wide open spaces, star-filled skies, and a pace of life that moves far more slowly than in major cities. Yet that trade-off is becoming more expensive with each passing year, as enormous amounts of wealth flow into the valleys and push real estate prices far beyond average incomes. A question is being asked more often in Western towns. Can ordinary people still afford to live in the paradise they call home? The answer remains uncertain, as economic change and urban growth continue to reshape the region. Even so, Montana has never been a place for everyone. The vast distances, harsh winters, and lack of many urban conveniences demand adaptability, self-reliance, and perseverance in everyday life. But those very challenges have also helped preserve the open spaces, untamed beauty, and unique identity that make this one of the most distinctive places in the American West. And perhaps that is a question every person must answer for themselves. If you had the opportunity to choose, would a life beneath star-filled skies, endless open spaces, and the quiet solitude of Montana be a trade worth making for you? Share your thoughts in the comments below.